experience or the region where I'm from or the history of that region. I want to start with a couple of poems about craftsmanship. I'm not any better than sort of middling handy myself, but I grew up around these people who could do amazing things with their hands and didn't really seem to think very much about it. This first poem is called Building with Stone. Winter had played a game of tug-of-war with spring that year. A freeze and then a thaw and then a harder icy freeze again. Enough to fool the birds and budding trees and spill the wall into the silo lot. Even the corner of the barn was strained, bulging in places like a cow with bloat. I figured we would simply stack and brace, a day of heaving rock into its place. My father, rarely one to hire out jobs, instead drove down to see a man he said would make short work of such a task as this, and might accept it too, despite his age. An able keeper of a fading art, of old-time masonry, both wet and dry, of chisel, hammer, Lewis pin, and trowel. A man whose work was known throughout 3 counties, where he had mended lonely fieldstone homes, spring houses, fireplaces, mossy walls, the barns that German-speaking farmers built. Just like the nameless craftsman from whose skill his own descended by apprenticeship, crossing the ocean in the centuries, and whose cathedrals he observed at war. He built a saint-named church, his masterwork, a vision taking form in hand-picked stones he harvested from fields of lichened scree, high on the slopes of Allegheny ridges, the haunts of rattlesnakes and wary bucks, and hidden springs murmuring half-heard words, brought down to form the porch and portal arch my sister walked through on her wedding day. That May a crew of 2 accompanied him, in battered chugging trucks piled up with sacks, boxes of tools, spare stone, and lifting tackle. He was a slighter man than I expected, though wiry, in blue work pants and shirt, and he was older too. His thinning face as weathered as the wall on which he worked, the wrinkles underneath his neck and ears squeezed out like joints of mortar left unsmoothed. He said to me without awaiting answer that while a slipshod job might last for years, well-laid foundations hold for generations. He touched the stones with his arthritic hands and laid a few of them with practiced care, but mostly gave direction to his men, his time-worn frame resisting final rest, his limestone eyes reflecting timeless light, a soul built up from sweat and solid rock. This next poem is called For the Shea Gap Ladies Auxiliary. The masters share their favorite recipes, the measurements and times transcribed with care. Their friends approximate the taste with ease, but don't achieve the dish that won the fair. Particularity of stove and pan can introduce a teaspoon's worth of risk. More so, the eyes and nose with which they're scanned, the hand and wrist that briskly move the whisk. The body's knowledge won't abstract the words, at least not fully, lettered out and read. Experience itself must be procured. A taste, a touch, a smell that won't be said. It takes sensation shared at tabletops, a long apprenticeship on tired legs, pouring together over bowls and pots, to pass on lessons shelled like speckled eggs. And I want to read next 3 poems that have to do with barns. The first is maybe my attempt to extend the holiday season a bit. It's called Milking on Christmas Morning. I stand atop the barnyard gate to see the outlines of the church nativity. Illumined angels, shepherds, gifting kings, the mother and the manger that they ring. Behind me sits our barn beneath some stars that drew no awestruck wise men from afar. Its bedding straw is tousled with manure, and steaming urine pools its concrete floor. It holds no donkeys, camels, lamb, or sheep, but 50 Holsteins hungry from their sleep, and ready for our work to bring relief to udders swollen near the point of grief. I crack the ice that glass the water trough, then go back to warmth the cows give off, to what is not that scene of adoration, but still reveals the depths of incarnation. And this next poem is called Breach. A farmer knows the point where prayer and blasphemy are one. My God, the shepherd psalmist's cry of dereliction. A windstorm flattens out his corn, a chainsaw bites into his firstborn's leg, a well goes dry in August drought. The night my father breathes such word, his lips are beaded up, his cotton shirt soaked through, his arm a swollen mass of blood and slime from failed attempts to push, to turn, to pinch the breached calf's legs, a stubborn inch's task. Frustration mounts as minutes turn to hours without the necessary shift, the cow no longer bellowing. Her head hangs low. Our neighbor puts his shoulder in her side to keep her upright in the narrow stall. The pulling chains lie useless on the floor. I dab a towel across my father's face and keep the water hot, add iodine to crudely sterilize. The slug of brown uncoils its tendrils in the steaming pail. Despite myself, I think about the day he had to shoot a spraddled cow to ease her misery. She was a heavy milker, a $1,000 cow. My mother cried. My father's eyes were wild as he returned the rifle to the rack, went back to work. Damn it all, he sinks against the blocks. My God, he pumps his arm, exhales the words, then stumbles up again to try to wrench a miracle into the world. This poem's called Abandoned Barn. I think a lot as I'm driving around this area, you have all these derelict barns all over the place, and we sort of take them for granted as part of the landscape, but I wonder how many will be there in just a couple of decades. The barn is home to roosting pigeons now, their droppings on the floor and wagon beds like whitewash splattered by a careless boy. Their coos and fluttering wings the only sounds where once the lows and coughs and whinnies rose through 2-inch thick floorboards from stabled beasts. Feeding, breeding, sleeping, giving birth. A sediment of dung remains below. Coarse hair still clings to tack that hangs on pegs, dry rotted to rigidity. A pitchfork leans beside a pile of moldering hay. A trapdoor open on its rusty hinge. The chestnut beams are fossils from a species near extinct. Great swarms of motes migrate across the light that shafts through widening ribs, the dust to which it slowly all returns. I'm going to read 2 poems now that have to do with restaurants and restaurant workers. The first is called Blue Plate. Outside, the sky's as purple as a bruise. It's spitting snow on chugging red-eye trucks that lurch out on the lonely twilight roads that lead to Allentown, Fort Wayne, Atlanta. A stranded Mac wears walrus tusks of ice. A Kenworth wears a battered Christmas wreath. In 30 sleeper cabs, the drivers thumb through magazines or westerns, watch some porn or football on their phones, call home or sleep. Most sleep. She wears a summer uniform that makes her flick her half-smoked cigarette away before her goosebump legs go blue. She walks through double doors into the diner, resumes the high-speed tightrope walk she walked with grace that's earned respect from veterans slow to praise. She keeps the coffee full and brings more bread, refills the pitting on the salad bar when she sees it's low, never drops a plate or cup or mixes up an order. She jokes and asks them where they're headed next, calls everyone except the perverts dear, and slows time like a magic trick for those who need to see a pair of human eyes. Last night it was the one who teared up, saying she looked just like his daughter, offered proof, a string of pictures, one for every grade. She nodded without seeing the resemblance. Tonight, the one with gouty legs tells how his best friend stepped into a VC trap, a buried box of shit-smeared spikes that killed him when infection spread. A shitty deal, he said, without intending pun. It happened on this very date, he adds. She slides into the booth to touch his hand. Before he shuffles out into the cold, he fishes in his wallet for a tip, small wages for some wayside saintliness. The next poem is called Old Tools Hanging in a Restaurant. Amidst the trinkets, curios, and kitsch, the 8-hour marathon she runs for tips, the kind ones and the ones that call her bitch, the pain of swollen feet and throbbing hips, she sometimes stops to contemplate the tools that hang by Sprite and Coca-Cola signs, but once were used by those who worked like mules. Like this old spade, rough hands were smooth and fine. Or this cast iron skillet by John Wayne, some woman seasoned on 1,000 fires, and who she bets like her did not complain when life denied her earlier desires. She feels a kinship born of bone-deep toil, uncertain yields, lean years, more chaff than wheat, hardships as eager as a snake to coil, but also satisfaction when ends meet. And when she scrapes potatoes, ham, and beans from plates of wasteful customers she's fed, she thinks of those who in such fare had seen and answered prayer, their hard-won daily bread. Next I want to read a love poem of sorts. It's called Tillman's Proposal. I've left my restless bed on moonlit nights to pace a dozen corn rows up and down. The stalks already more than shoulder height, and soon to wear a tassel for a crown. After an evening thunderstorm is best. The rising wisps of mist well suit my mood. I fancy I'm a ghost that cannot rest, because it pines for what it's long pursued. On such a night I hear the corn stalks grow, making the most of every summer drink. Their straining sighs are answered up the row, while down below the roots reach out and link. Such yearning's awfully lonely without you. If we were married, you could walk there too. This next poem is called Baby Doll. And it's kind of my reflection on, you often hear this saying that the elderly become like children again. And I think there's kind of a limit to that saying. This poem, I hope, explores that. When visiting my great-aunt's nursing home, my daughter shies from slouching wheelchaired forms and sweaters doubled up to keep them warm. They smile at her, their faces flecked with foam, or stare away indifferent as we pass, at carpet patterns, doors, or slippered feet. One slyly nibbles on a hidden treat. Another watches fish behind the glass. One woman whispers soothing, song-like words and wraps her arms around a baby doll, as if to calm it from a sudden fall. Old memories of children reassured, I guess, from 50 years ago or more, still clearer now than what she had for lunch. At least that is this parent's aching hunch, though of particulars I can't be sure. My daughter's forehead furrows into lines. She grabs my hand but does not shift her gaze. She senses this is not the game she plays and tries her best to read the solemn signs. And I want to end with two poems.